I have a lot of customers that I talk to and they launch their first course and it doesn't sell. They came up with the idea using more of a gut approach, following their instincts, and as a result, they didn't do their homework and now they've got an expensive course. They spent a lot of work on it and it doesn't sell. So I want to go over 3 mistakes that we see people making a lot and how to avoid them. So first of all, mistake number 1 is failing to confirm your customer's biggest challenge. It can be a challenge, it can be a frustration, it can be a big concern. But you really got to focus your efforts on making sure that you understand at a gut feeling, more emotional than anything else, what the person is struggling with. What is it that keeps them up at night? Now, I had a customer, I was consulting with them, and this is a guy very well qualified in publishing books and all in the area of career development, a lot of leadership, those sort of things. And he'd written textbooks that were used in university, in university courses. And his initial thinking when he met me was he wanted to put his books online. And these were some really thick books. And I had my, serious concerns because, selling a textbook is very different from selling a course online. You got a college student, they go to the university, they tell them how to purchase a book. The sales process is very easy. They work either directly with a school bookstore or a publisher or something and get the book. But when you're building your online course, you're working directly with someone that wants to solve a problem. They don't want to learn everything about your subject and become the expert like you are. They want you, the expert, to show them how to solve the problem, and ideally, how do you do it in the least amount of time possible. They're looking for efficiency and they're wanting to leverage your expertise. So, I started interviewing this person, and he was kind of struggling. He was fighting me, so to say. Step 1 of my breakthrough course selling system is, how do you eliminate your contaminated or your tainted thinking? We're all experts in our field, and it's been a very long time since we have known as little about our topic as the people that are buying from us. So we have to put ourselves in their shoes and stop thinking like someone that's an expert. I mean, when we go to teach, we're going to act like an expert, but when we're coming up with a course, when we're figuring out how to sell it, we have to sell to their problems. You have people that are in a situation, you're the bridge that's going to get them to the situation they want to be in with that problem solved. As a result, you've got to really hone in on your audience. I started talking to this guy, and what I discovered from him, among other things, is that his program, he's had a lot of success working with women that have had children and want to make a career change, something that has a lot more work-life balance, something that gives them more flexibility so they can continue to work, but they can also feel like they're supporting their family, their kids, and things like that. He also had a good success story working with 55 to 65-year-olds as they're late in their careers and they're wanting to transition into a job that leads them into retirement. He had a real good niche into that. And there were several chapters, not the whole book, there were several chapters that had a really good process for walking people through that, teaching them how to address their career challenges nicely. And so that made for a really good piece of a course that they could start off with. And I say a piece because let me kind of step into mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is you start adding too much content. You give them everything in the kitchen sink, which is kind of like what he was thinking of doing. But if you've got a problem that your ideal customer wants to solve just that problem. Don't get into the habit of adding bonuses just because you've seen a lot of online salespeople do that. Solve the one problem that your audience most wants, and it has a couple of benefits for you, because if you can sell them into something that's got a low ticket price offer, $100, $200, maybe $300, you don't need a ton of credibility. I mean, assuming you've got a good offer. for people to buy from you. But if you're trying to get people to buy $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 from you, it's a little more difficult. The initial course buys you time to establish that credibility. And if you solve that initial problem very effectively, you become their expert and the person that they want to go to solve problems in this area where you're teaching. So you kind of want to do that. And by chunking up your content into mini courses, for lack of a better word, you're going to be more successful at getting people to buy from you initially and then growing with you with bigger and larger offers that solve their complete problem. So don't get into the habit of creating too much content, overwhelming your customer, and not solving that first problem that they absolutely want to get solved. Now, the last thing that I want to point out is don't start with the technology. Now, you'd think with all the online courses that we build, because my team and I, we build LearnDash sites, WordPress sites, sites that are connected to backend CRMs. I mean, that's our world. I do not want to be selling you a technology solution. I want to be selling you or encouraging you to work with us on a breakthrough-like process that we have that teaches you how to get into your customer's head, how to understand what they want, and then sell into that with a very simple technology platform. I can't tell you how many times people approach me with a full-blown WordPress LearnDash site that's not quite working, and then they share with you that they've spent forever building it, or they hired a WordPress developer that had never built an online course, and their story has nothing to do with their course. It has everything to do with the technology that isn't serving them right. So initially, we want you to start with a bare minimum platform, teach them something, with a professional but very simple platform that you can put together in 2 to 4 hours so that the technology doesn't get in your way. The technology serves you as you launch the initial version of your program, and then collect all that important information from your initial set of customers so that then you can relaunch your program as something that's much bigger. So remember, mistake number 1 is not checking in with your customers and understand the problem they're trying to solve. Number 2 is you add way too much content. And number 3, you focus way too much on the technology before you're ready to do that. Now, our breakthrough course building system walks you through a really good process for getting down to an offer that's the right one for you. Reach out to me and I can give you more information on that.